The mind or the mental body is the fourth and the last of the bodies being used by the spirit. The purpose is to serve the spirit as a link to gain consciousness of the material worlds. Without the mind, it's difficult for the spirit to gain consciousness of the material or physical world. It was like a dream state. So we have a picture, a depiction of how the spiritual aspects generated or are linked to the material bodies. You can see the highest aspect, which is the divine spirit, having its counterpart in the dense body. Similarly, you can see the light spirit generating its counterpart in the vital body. And then the human spirit leading to the desire body. As the spirits descended into denser worlds, thicker worlds, they begin losing the all-consciousness of God. The world of thought, when the spirit descended to the world of thought, the all-consciousness left the spirits, and separateness began to show itself. Initially, the mind was not given and to be used by the spirit to acquire consciousness of the physical world. But in due course, the mind was given. So the mind is the fourth body being used by the spirit to gain experience regarding the material world. Once again, let's go to our diagram. You can see the divine spirit, the light spirit, and the human spirit constituting what we call the ego, the threefold spirit. And their reflection, their counterpart in the material world, is in terms of the bodies. You can see the dense body, the vital body, and the desire body. The three of them constitute the threefold body. And the mind links the personality, that is the threefold body, to the threefold spirit. It is the mind that links the personality to the ego. That is how the spiritual aspects and the material bodies are linked. The mind or the mental body is the fourth and the last of the bodies being used by the spirit. The purpose is to serve the spirit as a link to gain consciousness of the material worlds. Without the mind, it's difficult for the spirit to gain consciousness of the material or physical world. It provides for reasoning. The mind provides for reasoning and for the spirit to direct the body, the desire, away from the lower ones to the higher, loftier, and nobler ideals. That is what the mind is supposed to be as a tool for the spirit. During the descent, when the spiritual aspects, we are talking about the divine spirit, the light spirit, and the human spirit. When the spiritual aspects and the material bodies, we are talking about the dense body, we are talking about the vital body, the desire body, and the mind, they constitute the material bodies. When they were ready, fully aligned, and matured enough, the attention of humanity, our attention, was turned away from the internal picture consciousness, like dream state in which we were in the spiritual world, to the external consciousness of the chemical region of the physical world. We were awakened to have our consciousness externally. Now, the threefold spirit became man. The ego became man because it now has self-consciousness and externally conscious as well. It can see itself, it can see others. Then self-identity emerged. Mine versus yours. Ours versus theirs. We began to see ourselves separately from others. And we lost that consciousness of oneness. The Bible in Genesis chapter 3 describe this occurrence where we lost the consciousness of the spiritual world in place of physical world. That occurrence is known as the fall of man for the following reason. We exercise our free will wrongly. Humanity, consciously or unconsciously, whether you know it today or you don't know it, we lost our consciousness as a result of exercising our free will wrongly. We ceased to being automatons. More or less, we freed ourselves from the higher beings who were initially leading us. And external consciousness, as we have it now, was initiated by the Lucifer spirits for selfish purposes. In time, we have a full esoteric presentation on the fall of man on this channel, where we look at it in depth. But for now, we'll continue.